did some organizing. So now we're going to get started with our mixing tutorial. Okay. So when it comes to mixing, a couple of things we're going to cover today in today's 1 hour course. So we're going to cover leveling. We're going to cover EQing, both subtractive and additive. We're going to cover compression and limiting. We're also going to cover loudness and using LUFS and loudness meters. Okay. When it comes to mastering and getting our sound loud, we're going to be covering those different things. We're also going to be covering, space in terms of putting things where they need to be. That's going to be covered primarily in our leveling portion of the course. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to get started. First and foremost, we're going to get started by bouncing each of these files for this track. Okay. So when we go to bounce these tracks, since they already have been labeled and everything's ready, we're just going to click bounce mixer channels. And we're going to check all of the mixer channels so we can get all of the mixer channels. We'll even have a master section so that way we have a control, meaning we have something that we know, is ready to rock and roll. We'll keep the settings as is. Actually, let me make sure I come in here and let me just make sure I come in here and I, reset all of these things. Gotta unmute that guy. So make sure we check all of our faders and make sure that they are, set and ready to go. Okay. And we will do all of our, leveling and mixing and panning. We will do all of that in the next file. Okay, so we have our track here. It's obviously, mixed in a, things are not leveled, things are not mixed, accordingly. So we're going to start over and bounce all of these mixer channels. So we're going to hit check all when we hit bounce the mixer channels. And then we want to just kind of keep things how they are. There's not really much that's been changed. All of the faders are back to their normal position. We can even check this none option so that way nothing is being applied, and then we hit OK. All right. From there, we'll have a folder here, and we can just go ahead and hit OK, and then we'll make another folder as well. And I'm going to turn this off so that we don't have to hear the griggle that's happening inside of Reason. Okay. All right. My name is Chris Reed Beats. I am participating in March Madness on my live stream channel. That means we're live streaming all month long. We've been live streaming pretty much since the beginning of this month, and we are going to do our best to make it through the rest of the month. If you're looking for one-on-one tutorials, not like this one where we're all working together, but if you're looking for one-on-one tutorials, you can go to my website, chrisreedbeats.com, and you can sign up for one-on-one tutorials there Monday through Saturday. Also, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe. Leave me a chat somewhere so that I see that you're watching and that you're participating. And I appreciate you for coming through to the live stream. All right. So Reason, we still got some time. Reason is still bouncing out the track. As you can see here, it's still bouncing out the track. So we're just let Reason do its thing in the background. In the meantime, I'll set up with some of the things that I said we were going to talk about, which was leveling, okay, EQing or equalization, especially some of those troubled areas like the low mids and some of those mids in those middle areas where we have issues as well. Panning or, space. Giving space. Okay. We're also going to talk about compression and compression tricks. Okay. We're going to do side chaining / parallel processing. Okay. Side chaining / parallel processing. Okay. Maybe make sure I'm actually spelling things correctly. Okay. This would be 5. Okay. As well as, let me see, compression. We'll do for compression. Okay. 6, we're going to talk about loudness and limiters. Loudness, limiters, and LUFS. I like how that came out. Loudness, limiters, and LUFS. And then finally, finalizing or exporting. Okay. Exporting. All right. So now that we've done that, we should definitely be ready to get started with our first portion of what we're going to be doing today, which is leveling. Okay. So let me go ahead and just make sure that this comes up so that you can see it. And we'll get started with the first portion. So when it comes to leveling, what we're going to do is we're going to start a brand new track, a brand new file. And from here, we're going to locate those stems that we just created. Okay. So those stems will be in your folders, your documents, wherever you keep things. Try to keep things a little organized. This is the organization that I have going thus far. I try to do things by year, by time, by date, and things of that nature. So I'll go and head to my stems folder. And here with my stems folder, we have this track. Okay. Now I have all of these stems. We'll go ahead and drop them in. And I believe that the tempo was set to 125. So we'll go ahead and get our tempo set to 125. So it's dropping all those things in. Let me check my DAW, make sure my DAW sound is back on. DAW sound is back on. So it's going to drop in all of these files. And then you can already see that, you know, there's some different things that's happening. I know that from our earlier listen, we could hear the kick. Sound is good. When I heard it in the car, sounds good. But in terms of, you know, is it too loud? Is it, you know, it's definitely coming in as, you know, more too loud than not too loud. Okay. So, so we definitely need to, you know, be working on that guy. Okay. So we will start by leveling. I tend to want to start leveling at the kick first. Okay. I'm going to turn my headphones up. Okay. So at this time, like, we'll probably have my voice louder than what's coming in for you guys. So just bear with me in terms of that. When it comes to leveling, what we're going to do is take things, you know, one track at a time. Let me make sure I switch this to 125. Let's give this a listen, make sure things sound where they're supposed to be. So that is our control, right? That's our control. That guy is coming in where it's coming in. We also can go ahead and pull up this. Oh, I think that there might be one. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and delete this limiter real quick. And I'm going to play it one more time. Just watch out for the sound, loudness. Okay, yeah. So as we can just see for references, we're hitting at -6 on our loudness. We said we're going to talk about loudness, but we're going to do that later. First, we're talking about leveling. So just at our initial look at what's happening with the leveling, we can already see stuff is way too loud, right? There's definitely work that needs to be done with the leveling here. So just using the loudness, the LUFS meter, so that we can get a view of that, and we can see like, oh, wow, yeah, that is coming in a lot louder than we really want things to be. Because even at a master, we wouldn't necessarily want it to be -6 on our LUFS. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We have our control here. That's this master section. We're going to mute that for now. We're not going to use that. And we're going to start by checking in on these drums first. So we're going to do drums first. We're going to start with our kick first. I'm going to use this leveling up here. I'm just going to drop this to 10. I'm going to drop this -10. And I want to see when I drop that to 10, I'm going to put this over here to our VU. Still plenty loud, even with -10. Okay, so we're going to drop it down a little bit more. Let's go -15. Okay, now we coming right around where we kind of want to be. Let's go -20. Now, I like doing the using that leveling like that because it's a little more precise, and it is something that I learned recently. It's not something I was doing like since I first started mixing and making music in Reason. It is something I picked up very recently, but I did like the process of it. It's more specific. It's more dialed in. You know, you can see how much did I reduce that kick? You know, how much did I reduce that kick by? And then just getting a look at the actual, you know, the actual file here. If I zoom in, we might have to I think it might be coming in clipped. Oh, that's the bongos. It's bongos coming in like that. Okay. So I'm aiming for like -10. I'm aiming for, you know, right around here, this 10 area. And if I'm looking at my meters, All right, let's start. Ooh, see that bongos. Bong, 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 bong. Let's go ahead and see, for percussion, I might even go even more than that. Cool. Let's find some more of this percussion that we want. So here's our 2 snares. Let's go ahead and pull up our snare. So first, remember, just leveling, just leveling, just putting stuff at the leveling. So we're not going to touch on EQ just yet. Just going to touch on the leveling right for now. For now, we're just going to touch on leveling. Okay. So I can already tell that these snares going to have to come down. I definitely wouldn't want, so I'm gonna bring the bongos down a little bit more rather than raise our snare. I don't think the bongos should be louder than the snare for sure. Okay, let me see, hi-hats. Okay, let's pull in our hi-hats next. Okay. Let's go to this area since we got more hi-hats there. And then we'll go ahead and okay, cool. And while we're doing that, let's also move them around here with our mixer. Let's put them together in our mixer. So we got hi-hats right there. Only other thing is going to be these drum fills and the crashes. But they're going to come in a little bit later. So we got our soul sample roads. We'll make sure I don't have anything else for our drums. We have this effect here. It's essentially like it's like a reverb, heavy reverb. Let me just drop it down. Yeah, we might even go a little lower than that. So getting a little, like I said, a little precise with the leveling, because we're able to use the stems and we're able to use that leveling knob right there. We can really dial in the number and just get a little bit more, specific right there. And let me see, do I have any crashes here? Might have to go back. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. Interesting enough, I'm cool with that on the leveling for those other drums. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these main drums, pull our vocal down here somewhere. So it's our main drums, and I'm gonna color them. We'll color them like burgundy. That's cool. And then we'll also route them to a new bus. Okay, and this will be our drum bus. Okay. Let's recolor this drum bus to be burgundy as well. Okay, cool. So there's our drums. Kick is coming in. Kick is coming in without it being, too much and clipping and over the top, right? So there's our drum bus. I guess technically we can add this to it too. We should add these to the drum bus as well. I'm gonna add this one in here too. This is our snare heavy reverb. I like to name some things and just kind of, keep a little bit of structure, not, too much, but just a little bit. So now we have that, okay? Oh, my vocal did get dragged in there. It shouldn't be in the drum bus though. Okay, cool. Let's add in some more of these instruments, some more of these sounds. So let's go bass first. So I'm just creating some more buses here. I got this reverb echo bus that we're creating down here at the bottom right here. We got our bass line. So of course coming in a little, little loud. Everything's gonna have some kind of mix happening to it. So want to bring it down, but not that much. Okay. I like that. Just gotta check on that, make sure that it's doing what I want it to do. Okay. So like I said, we're just leveling at this point. We're just going through, we're just finding all of the different sounds and instruments. Everything was, reset to a certain volume. So we got to come in, find the instruments and find the places and get them sounding how we want. So we got our which one is this one? This is our, oh, this is nothing here. Okay, cool. We can just delete this guy. There's nothing there. Here's our guitar. Nothing is there. We can delete you too. Okay, cool. Here's another guitar. Our main sound is that sample. So now that we got the bass drum, let's add in the sample too. That's our main sound that's coming in. So add you. So now we can hear both of them. I want to just kind of start dropping this down. I'm going to drop both of them down a little bit more. This organ finna be loud. I knew it was finna be loud. Yeah. I would say that that's another integral part of the track. Let's pull that in. The vocal is in a little bit lower. Let's go to the next part of the track because there's some other instruments in here that we want to level as well. There's a breakdown part of the beat where it slightly changes a little bit. And I added in this flute, so let's make sure we turn down that flute as well. I use any of these. And that's the end of it. I don't even think we're gonna keep this. I don't even think we're gonna keep the structure of the track, because right now as it is like 5 minutes. So we probably definitely won't keep the structure of the track. But in terms of leveling, like, things are leveled off a little bit, better, where they were essentially. And so now we can do more fine tuning if we want. We come in here and do even more fine tuning to the track using our mixing faders. So I know that there's organ in the sample, and there's organ on top of the sample. So that's a lot of organ. So we're going to pull that organ down even a little bit more. Okay. And now I want to get into the next part, the next part, which is going to be EQing. Okay. So we're going to jump into our next section of the course with equalization. So now that we've done some leveling and we went through and like, okay, cool. We looked at, let me bounce back to leveling real quick. We'll touch on leveling one more time. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was the creating buses. So I didn't create the remaining buses that I wanted to create. So we're gonna create the remaining buses. So we created a drum bus and an effect bus, which I think we're gonna end up just deleting these because I don't even think I used any of these. Yeah, all of these can go. These can get deleted. And that just tidies things up a little bit even better for us. We have a guitar, we have a soul sample, we have a vocal. We don't need this master section right here. Rhodes, organ, and a flute. So all of these are considered like instruments. So I'm going to route them all to one bus, and we're going to name that bus instruments. Okay. I want this bus to be a different color. I think the color I was going for was that orange yellow looking. Yeah, let's go for that. Okay. And then that just helps us to, like I said, to stay organized a little bit. So now we have our drums, we have bass, we have instruments, okay? And that'll make it easier for when we go to the next step, which is EQing and, applying those different processing and things of that nature. Now we have buses that we can basically do processing to each other. So now this bus can get processed with that bus. These instruments can get processed with those instruments, so on and so forth. So if we want to do processing with the kick and the bass, now we have, buses that we can easily do processing with kick and bass. We also have channels where we can do processing with kick and bass very, very easily. If we want to, we want to just change all of the instruments, for example. We say, we want all of the instruments to receive this effect. We want them all to receive this compression. We want them all to receive this. Now we can do it because all of them have been bussed together. Okay, so now into equalization. Okay, so there's definitely some EQing that we want to do. Primarily, all over the place, So, I want it to hit hard and sound good. So I might even drop this down a little bit. I'm might even just drop the leveling down a little bit because I'm finna come in here and I'm finna get to doing stuff. So most everything is going to get some kind of low pass filter just because there is frequencies below 40 hertz, below 30 hertz that build up in the sounds. You can't necessarily see it, but it's there. You can't hear it. It's there. And then, you know, and maybe in one sound, it's like, oh, it's okay. It's just there in one sound. But then all of the sounds together, it gets to building up, building up, building up. So that's why. So some people go back and forth with this. They say, oh, you don't need to put a low pass filter, high pass filter on everything. You don't need to do it. That's what some people will say. But others will say you should. You can find yourself in between and in the middle, how you want to go about it. But have the information to know that, yes, below 40 hertz, below 30 hertz, even you can even push for some instruments, you can even push even higher up. But for sure, there are sounds and there are, you know, things that's happening, harmonics and things that's happening in these super low ranges that build up when they are combined with the rest of the instruments and all of those super low frequencies and ranges. So you will have some build up there, even if you can't hear it. Eventually it'll present itself in some way, shape, or form. So you want to deal with that. You want to take care of that. With a kick drum, we're not using a bunch of the highs, so we go ahead and throw that low pass filter so that we deal with that. And then just very, very, you know, very low part, you know, we're going to deal with that right there too as well. Well, what we are going to do for this kick is we're going to find, you know what I'm saying, that good area, that good subby area where we can, you know, add. So subtractive EQ, additive EQ. Here we go. Subtractive EQ is when you are subtracting sound. So that's what we just did with these filters, high pass filter and low pass filter. Subtract the sound. Additive is when you're increasing the sound, or you're increasing the gain for that frequency. So we know we got our kick drum, and we want the kick drum to be a little, you know what I'm saying, we want to have a little thump to it. We want to add in some of that thump to it. You see what I'm saying? And if there's other qualities that we want to deal with, we can deal with those qualities. So I already subtracted low pass, high pass, and I already reduced the gain a little bit because I knew I was going to come in here and increase this frequency. Now, what they would say is, oh, 90 hertz is like the heart of the kick, right? So you could boost there. And as you see with Reason, there is some roll off. So there's some build up and increase into, you know, that sub area. There is some build up into these areas. So it really just, you know, you want to, you know, keep in track with, you know, what these curves and slopes are doing. It's not just like one band shooting up. You know, it's not just increasing that one frequency of 90. There's some increase to 90 to 100, and there's some increase from 80 to 40. There's some increase of there as well. So depending on where you put that bell, that's going to let you know like, oh, okay, cool. We got some roll off happening and all of these frequencies are being affected. Okay. And we can hear the difference. We can hear the before and after. We can turn it on. Just gives it that, you know. Just give it a little something more. Snare. So same thing, taking off some of this high pass, but I like to add a little crispiness to the snare, so we pull up some of that high. So again, with the before and the after, here's our before, here's our after. And you know, this snare definitely has some like bass in there. Let me see, it might even, not that one, build this one. So there's a before, here's after. It's kind of clean, you know, and we might just do the same thing with both. And because we subtracted some of that EQ, so because we're subtracting some, we're going to add some back to our overall sound, okay? We're going to add a little back. Because we took out some of that bass in that snare. We don't want to, you know, it's super bassy, but, you know, pull up that high. And, you know, some frequencies you get to add in and subtracting frequencies, and what it does is when you attenuate that high, it makes it sound clearer, but it reduces that low end, right? So you got to balance it out a little bit. Yeah, see, that one didn't need as much. Okay, we can go down. We can go down on that one. Yeah, you can see that. You can see them bongos even have some of that really, really low frequency, and we just don't need it. Like, not only do we not need it in general, there's the before. We'll put a little bit more. Okay. Okay, let's get to this heavy snare right here. I don't really see much happening to the heavy snare. I like how it sounds, how it is. I don't think I have a whole lot of crashes, but there should be crashes though. So for example, I'm supposed to have crashes and rides happening right here. Yeah, like that. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm doing these sweeps, these sweeping cuts. I'm basically just listening for what I do want or what I don't want. Or sometimes it's sweep and boost, sometimes it's sweep and cut. So like that's just the essence of the sound. But I'm listening for that part right there. I want that to come down. So again, let's see. So here we are by itself, and we can go turn this off. This is what it originally sounded like. You can just hear it has some low frequencies in it. And now maybe we can even. And then in the mix. Yeah, I'd rather hear the top of that bell than the bottom of that cymbal, like the lowness of that cymbal. That's what I'd rather hear. Okay, we go to the bass. I think that typically for the bass, I would come over here to the EQ section. I think that when I did the stem bounce, it removed this specific bass. The specific bass patch, but I like using like nasty bass from Reason. And you can just hear exactly what that did to it, right? So let's go ahead and drop. Well, I don't want to do it that much from the fader, but I'll drop it down like 3. Now we have that bassiness coming in, you know. Now we have that bassiness how we want it coming in. Let's drop this down a little bit more. We can even go up a little bit. I think I reduced the bass a little bit, but I can hear them crashes coming in too. I'm gonna drop them down. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this transient shaper to that kick, maybe just like 20%. Okay, and I'm affecting that compression. Before we get to compression, I won't do too much on that, but yeah, let's keep going with the EQ. But just applying that patch. Oh, I probably should save it. I didn't realize I didn't save it, by the way. Applying that patch brought in applying that patch brought in some bass, but it also changed the dynamics. It also made certain things louder and certain things softer. So, oh man, look what we're doing on our time. So we got to kind of, keep moving ahead, maybe add a little more time to this situation. EQ for that soul sample. It's pretty much, you know, it is what it is. Just take out some of the bass. I don't really hear frequencies I don't like. We can do this. Maybe just that bassy part. Maybe just a little bit. Okay, right there, there's like some harshness. Just a little bit. So we can just kind of just come in, tighten that up a little bit. The vocal really is sitting right where we want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Just take out that bass just to make sure we ain't got nothing in there affecting that. Let me see. Go to our flute section. Where's our flute? Doo-doo-doo. Right there. Now this flute has like an effect on it. Like the style of flute is like lo-fi, so it's not, it shouldn't have like a very like, you know, it should sound how it should sound, but it does have a lot of low rumble. You can see that low rumble right there. Like, should we really have low rumble in a flute? Like, no, we really shouldn't. So the thing about that part, what would need to happen there is we would want to make sure that this can stand out, and that's what's gonna happen in our next section. In our next section, when we get into panning, that's what's gonna really help that flute to stand out, because it needs to have its own space. It needs to have its own area. Like the flutist just walked up to the microphone and now they're there to perform their solo, right? So we gotta give space for that flute. Give it a little more volume than what it had before. I gave you my best, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Yeah, I kind of want like the whole beat to be this, and then go back to the hook. You know what I'm saying? So I think right now, currently, it does this. And that's just, you know, in terms of like the creative side of me is peeking into the mixing side, right? We're supposed to take off that hat. But you just can't help it. You hear something you like, you hear it, you know? I really like the way that this section sounds. Make sure that low mid is not a problem. Let me see. Give me another bus. That's like our outro hook right there. So that's that. All right, so we pretty much have gone through and did our EQ for each of this. Oh, I have a jazz guitar in here. I need to find as well. Jazz guitar. It's just different parts of the track. Oh, and that organ. I think we still need to do stuff to that. So this unfortunately, well, we might have to pull up the old file to make sure that some of the effects of that jazz guitar did not follow through to the effects didn't follow through. Now I can rebuild the effects. Basically, I used a soft tube amp and I put that on American Clean 7. But we also had a Ripley. We had a Ripley on here, and the Ripley was set to it was like a gate, auto gate or something, or gated something. Let me see. I'll go to our browser and I'll go to Ripley. Let me see. We want to browse for Ripley files. Something with a gate. The word gate. I think it was this one. All right. There we go. That's it. Usually around 2K, want to give a little bit of presence boost for that guitar. So I'm saying, yeah, no, get that out of here. Get that out of here. I will add a little bit of bass though. Oregon. Man. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Okay, with the time that we have right here, okay, we're coming into an hour right here on our mixing section. So we've done our leveling and we've done our equalization to each individual track. Okay, now let's get into some panning and creating some space. So there are some things that, you know, I'm hearing like, okay, I would really rather these things be this way. So for one, for example, when we get to this bass, on this bass, we really want this bass to be monoed. Okay, really want that bass to be monoed. There's a way for me to. Well, you can always just use the stereo field, this width up here, but you can also just decrease the you can make it a mono. So like this is mono. When I pulled out that plug, that made it a mono. When I pulled that plug out, it made it a mono track up here. This the bus for the bass, for example. So bass, yay, we don't need anything. We don't need anything. That should just be mono, just like the kick drum. Kick drum is already set to mono. Hey, it's mono. We don't want it to be any panning. There's no panning that needs to happen there. And for that case, maybe even for our snares, we could even, you know, reduce the width for those as well. We don't necessarily need a whole lot of panning happening for that. Okay, but let's come up here and let's look at this stuff. So I'm gonna play it. I know I want my bongos to be somewhere else. I don't want them to be in the center. Them in the center. Same thing with the hi-hats. I want the hi-hats to be more to the right. Crash and ride can come more to the middle. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna try that, for example. I'm gonna try what that sounds like instead starting over here. Vocal can be in the middle, soul sample can be in the middle. So we can even, you know what I'm saying, pull that in there. I think the soul sample has some left-right things happening, so we can leave it how it is. Maybe just reduce the width a little bit. But when we get to that flute, for sure for that flute, we want that flute to have its own area. So listening to the track, some stuff, I think we can push that flute to the right. Yeah, push that flute to the right. Push this organ to the left. Give it a little more volume. Oh, there's our timer, y'all. I was like, what is that sound? All right, cool. So our timer went off, but what we'll do is, let me see. Let me just, we'll put some more time on. So I'm gonna put like 20 more minutes on, because I think, yeah, with what we got going, we could do like 20 more minutes and we'll be okay. All right, cool. So we're doing our panning in space. I pushed one of those snares. I want to push one of those snares to the right, so you can just kind of differentiate from main snare to secondary snare. And I'm gonna get that one a little more volume as well. Yeah. Okay, we also have that guitar. I think in the original I had it pan to the right. Okay. Oh, you know what? I don't think I added my EQ to the hi-hats. I wanted to give it a little bit more sizzle. Yeah, I wanted to give it a little more sizzle and thin them out a little bit. Maybe add a little bit of that ring. A little bit of that ring to that hi-hat. Okay, I knew it was something I was overlooking. Okay, what's this? Drum fills. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, oh, oh. This is a delay. We don't need any we don't need any of that bass frequency on that delay. Jazz guitar, soul sample vocal, trans flutes. I might even just take that whole Rhodes section out. That's what I'm saying. When I go to really look at stuff, I might take that out. But Rhodes, got them to the left. Got my flutes to the right. Organ. Soul sample. Who this? Who that texting me? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, man. I thought my tripod was a person. Oh my goodness. That was terrifying. Oh, let me just take a second real quick to just say shout out to everybody watching the live stream. This is March Madness. We're cooking up live streams all month long. We've been working on mixing this beat. We made this beat last night. Working on mixing this beat today. Giving you guys these one-on-one tutorials. If you're interested in that, go to chrisreedbeats.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, show your boy some love, okay? So far, if I come over here and I look at what's happening with the likes, listen, there's more people watching than there are likes. So if there's more people watching than likes, that means somebody got to help me out, man. Help me out with the likes, okay? Help me out. I appreciate that. All right, with that being said, let's get back into this part. So that's our panning and our space. If we wanted to send things, further back and, not have them be so present, we could use reverb to do that if there were some things we wanted to push, back. But I think pretty much things are in the space that we want them to be, okay? With our panning, with our EQ, with everything that we've been doing so far, I think we got everything that we want that to be, okay? Compression. So there's different orders that you can do different things. I chose to put compression at this point because we've done our leveling and our EQing, and so I just left it at this point. But even if you look at, the regular mixing section, compression comes before EQing, but you can also switch the order that happens as well. You can have your EQ come before your compression. There are reasons for why you would do that, but I just chose to do it this way at this point in time. Put everything where I wanted it, and then compression is used so that if there are loud parts and soft parts, you can even them out. So if there's parts, for example, that live drum track that we have, that needs some kind of compression to say, hey, drum fills, hey, drum, like, yeah, that snare's going crazy, kick drum's going crazy. Let's do something with that. So I've been using this quad compressor from IK Multimedia, for example. I'm gonna pull over here. Very subtle, but it's something. And if you wanted, you can just see right there in that area. It's like, yeah, I hear you. You just go and pull that down a little bit. I hear you. Kind of tame things a little bit there. And on our drum bus, we can do some of that as well. So a couple of compressions I like for the drum bus. For one, that quad compressor, okay, because it's like the entire bus. And then there's also this bus compressor right here. And I like the presets that they have. So I'll put it on the drum bus. We can even turn down the makeup. The makeup just kind of shot us up a little bit in terms of loudness. Just let it do its thing. These are subtle changes. That makeup game just increased our drums a little bit more than we wanted it to be at the moment. Okay, when we get to our loudness area, we can go ahead and we can do that there. Okay, but for now. on that bass. I was definitely, so I already, you know, we had a nasty bass. We have a compressor in there. I'm going to just add in one more just to make sure that this thing is, you know, this thing is doing what I want it to do. Okay. I wanted to make sure it's doing what I want it to do. So there's a compressor in there. I'll put it on this glue one. Let me just make sure. So I'm just tightening up these sounds. I'm just going down on this threshold until I start to see a little bit of gain reduction. Right now it's like no gain reduction. I go right here and there's a bunch of gain reduction. I don't want that much gain reduction. Pull down until I start seeing a little bit of gain reduction. Yeah, about there. See, that tells me if the bass starts getting out of hand, if stuff starts, you know, wobbling up too much, that lets me know the compression is going to kind of, you know, just relax, calm down a little bit, but not crazy, because you can go crazy with compression, right? You can have a whole lot of gain reduction happening. And from what I understand, from what I notice, and when it's a whole lot of gain reduction happening, that just means you need to go back into your leveling. You need to do something else with your leveling. If there's a ton of gain reduction, then yeah, you got to figure something out with your leveling. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with the sample. The tiniest of gain reduction. It's like, you know, just a few dBs. Just a few dBs here and there. It's just a few dBs to say don't get crazy. Okay, reason tip, hold Control, hold Shift, and you can duplicate that and pull it right back down to the next one. So now the vocals have the same compression that soul sample had. Okay, just like a little, it's like a quick thing that you can do. For that matter, yeah, we really should just be going to the bus. But you know, you got your bus, so you got your overall. It's like the sum of these instruments, I want that to be compressed. But then it's also like, oh, we also, you know, compress not just the sum of the instruments, but each individual instrument that needs compression. So maybe the jazz guitar needs compression on its own and not just in the sum of the instruments together, meaning the bus, not just the sum of those instruments together needing compression. And when you apply it to the bus, it kind of helps to bring all of the sounds together. When you apply it individually, it's like, so stuff don't stand out too much. So just to give like, oh, like why would we do this or why would we do that? That's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay, so we're going to add another one of those to the overall instruments bus. Just grab that and just apply that to the overall instruments. Yeah, but see, this one I don't want the threshold as much. Okay. So that's compression. Now there's also overall compression. There's master compression. In Reason, you can use the master bus compressor. Okay, and then you can also go to the mastering section and you can apply some compression there as well, right? So there's overall compression, individual compression. I guess to show you some others. So for example, let's go ahead and find our kick drum and we will do our side chain. We'll do our side chain to our bass. It's kind of like almost mandatory at this point to have like a to have a side chain kick and bass, right? You want that kick to shine through without it just having to be extra loud. So we go to our kick. We can take our parallel out. We can right click it and then we can find the bass mix channel. There it is. Side chain input. Okay, so that's doing it through the right clicks. And then once we do that, it's already there. And we will see this light appear, this key light. Key light will appear, and that lets us know that it's active. Only thing we need to do there now is turn on the compressor and then, you know, dial in our settings for that. And then when you start seeing that light come in, that's when you know that kick is applying. So I'm gonna dial back on that ratio a little bit. So I kind of go by like the lights. It's like, oh, do I want like 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights? I want like 1.5 lights. All right, we just gonna the timer is the timer, y'all. The timer is the timer, y'all. So we spent another 20 minutes. All right, oh, here we go. Here's another 20 minutes. Here y'all go. You're welcome. So we got 1 light. Can kind of listen. We want to listen to see, like, is it dropping the bass too much or is it like a good amount? Now, let's say, like, just for example, let's just say we wanted to get funky, right? Let's say we wanted to get funky and we wanted to say, hey, not only do I want it to drop when it comes to the bass, not only do I want it to drop the sound when it comes to the bass, but I also want it to drop the sound when it comes to all the rest of these instruments as well. I want that kick to just have the, you know, just to shine, you know, I really want that to shine through. Or even if we said the drums, for example, we want the drums to really shine through. So when those drum transients come in, we want everything else to get out of the way. We can do that same application. So what we're doing to show you the routing, for example, we'll zoom in a little bit and I'll show you guys the parallel out of the kick drum is going into this spider audio, which is just to split the sound. So we already got one going up to our bass bus. Now we'll send another one to the other bus. So the other bus that we had was our instruments bus. Okay, so I'm just dragging here to dynamics, instruments bus. We'll go over here and come to our mixer. We'll turn this guy on. Okay, we'll turn it on to fast and I'll drop the threshold just like we did before. So not getting any reduction yet. We'll go ahead and turn the ratio up. See how it sounds if you exaggerate it. Now it's exaggerated. It's way too much. So we pull it back a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it can happen. We can have that compression, and that's fine. But it's like, oh, but hold on, like pull back on it a little bit. I'm gonna come down on this threshold, on this threshold, and I guess also on the attack on that sample. I heard that sample get real, like, you know, it was moving around a lot. Just want a little bit of delay on that, man. Want a little bit of that on that, man. Little bit of that, man. Very interesting there. So that's our compression. That's some compression takes that we got going on right there. Let me see. Do I want to add my overall compression? Well, typically what I do for master section is I will come in here and I will add all of the things that we've been adding. So some EQ, some EQ, as well as some. So we will add all of the things we've been adding. A limiter, compression, EQ, and stereo field. I was trying to think, like, what is the thing I'm trying to get to? Stereo field. So we definitely covered sidechaining as well. We did some sidechaining as well, and so we do have our sidechaining already happening, and parallel processing as well. So I covered that. We just covered that in the compression area as well. Okay, loudness. Let's go to loudness and limiters and all of those different things. So we use some different instruments here. I'm going to be using ozone. I could just come in here and just do ozone elements, because really ozone elements really just does it. But for EQ on the master, I'm gonna just come in here, EQ on the master. I like this gentle polish. I like coming in here and changing this slope to make this slope, just to cut off those really low frequencies, just to cut that off. And let me see, let's play it. You can kind of just hear it speaks to its name. It speaks to his name. It's a gentle polish, it's a gentle polish for sure. It's a gentle polish for sure. Okay, so add a little bit of compression over here. Oh wait. Oh, I guess we should do that too. So before we started adding things to our master, you can see where we're at -21. So, you know, I don't know if it sounds loud on your side at all or not, you know, but that's what that sounds like. We're at -21. So we just add a little EQ and a little compression. And we're starting to get somewhere. We're starting to get some places. Okay. So like I said, a little stereo. Now I wonder, I would just load in Reason stereo, but I am curious about, let me see something real quick. Effects stereo. Do IK Media? They have a quad imager. Quad image. Oh, yes. So this is our, okay, we can use the IK Multimedias then. I'll make this a little larger. So, so they have what is it even? See, look, it's a whole bunch of stuff moving around. Nothing is even playing. That's interesting. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. So here's our bass. Here's our bass. You could just mono it out. You know what I'm saying? So we can listen to hear like, okay, what sounds are appearing in these areas, and that's going to help us to shape our imaging, if you will. Yeah, there's some stuff over there. Okay, there's some stuff over there that needs to be wide. So so keeping our bass mono, keeping that mono, but then keeping some of these higher elements and just shaping these frequencies. Like, okay, we want this frequency to be also included in that mono, and we can bypass it. Yeah, the main thing I hear when applying that, is that there is a focusing of the bass and kick drum. There's a focusing because it's pushing it to the center, and everything else is, you know, wider. So this even, I guess, this even applies to our panning and space, you know, conversation as well. But let's continue on the master section. Just pulling in some stuff that we can add in here. So, and sometimes I do different sets on the master. Sometimes I would like, okay, if I just wanted to do like an IK multimedia set, like I was like, oh, I want to see how would it sound if I just went straight IK multimedia, you know, and I just use a bunch of their plugins. Or how would it sound if I do a mix of IK, a mix of Ozone, a mix of Reason. Sometimes I do it like that. Sometimes I just want just Reason, depending on how I mixed the track. Sometimes I just go with a multi-band compressor. So it just really just depends. So right now we got a little bit of mix of, you know, ozone, IK multimedia, got a little mix of everything. So right now we're gonna have we're gonna hear an increase of sound. So I'm gonna turn my fader down because it's definitely gonna increase the sound a little bit. And then, well, it'll do it for you guys too. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna play it and I'll start bringing in that sound. So them drum fills, I'm gonna pull them down. I could hear that. I knew that was gonna be something. They need to be attenuated a little bit more. They need to be attenuated more. Pull in the attack a little closer. Well, I don't want too much of the attack though. I don't want it to lose the transient, but yeah, pull that in a little bit more. Okay, cool. Sometimes because I'm using my headphones, it'd be like, okay, using my headphones like the bass, you know? That's why it's good to listen to it in different areas as well. So I'm going to turn my mic off so that way I can hear it, okay? So what I could hear is that, well, for one, when we look at our insight, keep that open and keep this open too. Okay, when we look at our insight for our leveling, let's check that out real quick. So there's our before sound right here. And here is our after. Wait. And here is our after. Okay, so that's the part in the track where we would then say, all right, if we can hear where we are in terms of our loudness and our leveling, we're at -12 as well. That sounds good to me, you know what I'm saying, without, pushing it crazy. Like I said, we could push for like -8, we could push for it to be really loud. In some of my mixes and stuff lately, I'm kind of easing back in terms of my loudness, or I'll export it. I'll see what the file looks like as well to, determine like, okay, did I need some more or did I need less? But based on what I'm hearing in the track and what I'm seeing, yeah, like we could even pull it back a dB on that input, on that limiter. We can even pull it back a dB if we want. I was also doing some toning and to that sample because it has some, bell and different effects like that. We want to kind of shape those things so that they don't sound, wow. All right, so I like this. I'm liking where we at, man. I'm liking this, man. I'm liking it. I'm liking this, man. All right, so we did spend a little more time, than we wanted to in terms of, what I'm saying, the overall process. But we did start this process off by saying sometimes we, rush through things and, we don't really take our time in what we're doing. Sometimes we need to, take our time a little bit more. And this is definitely one of those processes where you want to take more time than less. So even with this, there's more time that could be taken. When we went through and did our leveling and EQing, and once we did all of that before we started applying things to this master section, you could export, right? You could export this. Matter of fact, I'll just do it right now while I'm talking. So, what you could do is you could export the file where it's at before you started doing anything to your master section. You could just export that song, okay? And then so you export that song all the way through. So then it's summed up with the leveling and compression that you did without any of the master section being applied to it, right? So we come in here and we set our sample rate and everything, and we could just do our exporting. I'm gonna turn off this. DAW, and then after you do your first export, you have your WAV file and everything like that, a 2-track, and all of your leveling and everything is done without anything on the master, right? Without anything on the master, you open up a new file, drop that export into your new file, and then that is considered your mix, the sum of your mix. And then you can start applying your mastering to that file. And then that would just be, bringing things up to the level, doing your same thing that we did, our compression, our EQ, our stereo imaging, and our limiting. And I guess the only other thing that would be applied, some saturation if you wanted, tape saturation. And it was funny to hear people, different engineers and sound engineers, talk about how we're using digital products. So we're using digital products right now, but we're using them in a way where we're trying to still get analog sound. So like, adding like tape saturation, tape, all these tape things, we're adding these things in and not realizing that the sound we're looking for is the sound that you get when you're running things through analog equipment. So it just makes it altogether a whole nother interesting conversation about what we're doing with music and what we're doing in music. I wonder if there is a way. I wish there was a way. Oh, there is a way that you can split. There is a way that you can do that, Chris. You could just split the HDMI file. All right, so with that being said, what I'm saying, shout outs to y'all. We are running the exporting section right now. So if we quickly just look over, we'll see Reason is doing this exporting thing, and that's what we're doing with that. So it's just exporting everything without the master section. But I just wanted to show you the master section so you can see the loudness part of, the course, the live stream, the tutorial. Hopefully you guys got something out of that, and some of the processing that we was doing in there, some of the routing and cabling that we did as well. And I hope you guys appreciated it and that you enjoyed it, man. Shout outs to y'all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. With that being said, one-on-one tutorials are available, but this is my advertisement that I want to show, is basically to tell you to like and subscribe. Of course, we are in March Madness, which means we're live streaming all month long. We're every day, man. Every day, I'm gonna count every day as a victory. Listen, every day we get it in, I'm gonna count it as a victory. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all what I'm finna do to this thing too. So I'm gonna take all of these, I'm gonna combine these, and then I'm gonna save this combinator We'll save it as our master chain. Oh, look at that, master chain tutorial session 2. Okay, and I'm just saving that to make sure that I have it, because then I'm going to load up a new file. I'm going to close out this file. Yes, go ahead and save. And I'm going to find my file. I'm going to find my files, open up my files on my computer. And then we will find, I believe it's in a miscellaneous file. Where is it at? Where is it at? No, not there. Is it just in exports? Hold on, I didn't check to see where it was exporting it out. It's got to be this one. Okay, cool. So we can see this is supposed to be 125. I know y'all can't hear it. So I'm gonna come over here, and then I'm going to, now we're gonna apply that that same one that we did before. This was a mastering chain tutorial session 2. So I can just drop that right into here, and it has those same devices that we used before. I'll bypass. I wonder what it sounds like for y'all. Just pushing it, you know? At this point, just pushing it. And now we have hit our 8 on our loudness meter. Okay. So we boosted the signal. We sent the master over. You know what I'm saying? You know, we sent the master over, and you know. my system, when I'm listening to it in my headphones, I have to turn the headphones down. I can't leave the headphones. At first, I had the headphones turned all the way as loud as they could go with my Focusrite. But now that I'm starting to apply more of this, and I'm at 8, now that we're at 8, I'm turning it down. So every time I turn the actual file up, I'm turning it down, turning it down, turning it down. Okay. And so there's our essentially our final polish, if you would, because we exported it out. Now we have this file. Now we have what's happening inside of here. I might even pull this down to 150 instead of where it was at. Might even pull that down a little bit. I don't want to change too much of this. So see, I thought it was, to me, it sounded like it was like, because I'm, headphones, right? So let me listen to it real quick with the speaker. Oh, I did turn the microphone off. Oh, okay, good. 'Cause I was sitting there looking like, man, I hope the microphone wasn't just on. But that is how you can, push it to your loudness. And I think for me, a lot of times I end up dropping the bass a little bit, because I know when I put it in the car, I might just drop both. Then I might just drop a little bit of bass and drop a little bit of highs. Because I know when I put it in my car, I'm gonna crank that like Soldier Boy. I'm gonna crank it like Soldier Boy once I get into my car. So sometimes I like to do it like that. But yeah, that would be how I would mix that track. Oh, so I guess the last thing that we need to do, we would need to do is go back. Now we gotta go back and find the original track that we bounced out, right? So we go back and find that original track, and we go to our stems, and we find that original master section track, right? And now we can even look at this to kind of see the differences, okay? So before, remember, this is completely unmixed. This is like, we turned all of the faders up and down, like, all the faders are at 0, and you can look at these two files and you can kind of see what's happening between them, even just by looking at them. This is clipping. This is going beyond 0. Okay, if I start pulling some of this stuff down, it's clipped, it's done, it's finito. You can see the very tops. It's done. That's distortion. Right, that's distortion. It's no saving that. It's no bringing that back. And if we being completely honest, if this master section is distorted, it could also be that some of those stems were pushed too high as well, right? Oh yeah. Well, one thing I do want to do is I didn't even do it on that other one either. So there's a certain frequency. It's like this 200. There's two, not that one, and not this one. Keep that where that's at. But this one, I want to come over here, and I want to just kind of dip this down a little bit. That thing is. Oh, I'm playing both at the same time. Come on, Chris, be smart. All right, so anyway, what we were saying was let's listen to what the track sounds like. First, I'm gonna come in here. I gotta bypass all of this stuff. Okay, so that is no mix at all, right? So there's our after. And I'll just turn this down. I like how it sounds good to me. Let me see. Here's our before. You can even hear that bongo is just way too loud. It's kind of like everything is set to 0, so it's kind of exaggerated, I guess. I'm supposed to be just playing it, just playing. Okay, here is the before. And now here is the after without the master effects on. So now if we add the master effects for our loudness, now we can hear how it sounds with the mix and the master. For both of them, I kind of just wanted to change the formatting of the track, the sequencing, because I like this part better. So as opposed to doing what we did before, we would have this be our hook, because I think this part is fine for our hook. And then instead of doing that, no, let's not do that where it comes down like that. We'll have that be our hook. Let's move you over. So I don't need to do it to the bottom one either. I don't need that bottom one. So this is our hook. We're going to fly this over. That's a hook to the end of the song, okay? Then there's a secondary part, okay? This comes like right here. If I do the hook right there. So then the secondary part of the track is right here. The secondary part of the verse. So that is possible, but I think I would even just do this. So it would go hook into this port. Then into this I'm basically trying to see how I can sequence the beat now that it's already like, you know what I'm saying? But if nothing else, it would be like this. If I just got rid of the rest of this stuff, I don't even know about that ending part with all of the extra drums that I did either. It would just be this. And then how long is that if we just did it like that? So that's, you know, without our basically almost a third verse. So now that we have that, we could do a final export. So we can do a final of the final of the final export. And it's like, all right, that's it. That's the last export that we do of that track. Okay, cool. Let me see. Man, we've been, you know what I'm saying? We've been working on this for the last, it's been like 2 hours, man. We've been rocking and rolling, man. Every time I say I'm only going to do a certain amount of time, I even had a whole timer. Wait a minute. I even had a whole timer, a whole clock. It was set to an hour. Even had a whole clock set to an hour. It was like, yeah, nah, we not gonna do this for this long. We only gonna do it for that long. It's like, who you fooling? Who you talking to? First of all, what are you talking about? That's what you think finna happen. That ain't what's gonna happen, bruh. So anyway, with that being said, man, shout out to y'all for coming through to the live stream. I think that, you know, we want to continue to just keep making tracks, continue to keep staying focused. We had a couple setbacks. We had a couple setbacks with this live stream. For some reason, my stream just crashed, and that was unfortunate. But at this point, you know, that's what we working with, man. Shouts out to everybody that came to the stream from earlier and from now. We got Sasha, we got Tripophonics, Yad Vave, Willie Jackson Jr., May So Well, A.O. Polino, J Mar on the beat, Sounds and Samples, Catchy Noise Productions, DL, and the Blatantly Blatant Network. Shout outs to all of y'all. Actually, I guess this jacket is doing pretty good. I was wondering if it was gonna keep me warm. It kept me pretty warm. Only thing now is my feet. My feet is down here. So I just gotta make sure to You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Put my shoes back on these feet real quick. And now it's time for me to skedaddle. What's today? Today is Monday. It's a new week. Man, it's a new week. It's Monday. As much as I hate to go, man, I gotta head out. I'm gonna head out. March Madness, we live streaming all month long. Today we did mixing, mastering. We cooked up a beat last night. We're just gonna keep it rocking and rolling. I think that soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe sometime. Trying to think when I'm gonna be able to get into the listening to your music. Trying to see when I'm gonna get into that. I want to say tomorrow, but I also want to set it up. I also want to set it up in a way where, let me see, is it this one? Yeah, this one, right? I also want to set it up in such a way where you can send your music in just for submissions. When we send our music in for submission, we're going to be, there is a way I can do that, right? Yeah, I can do full screen projected, put that over there, and then I can come back to this one. There you go, and you can still see it. You can see it over there. So then what I could do is this one. Yamaha MGP. Let me see what this is. Yamaha MGP. I know that Yamaha MG. Oh, we got that one at my church. This blue one right here. We got it's a MG XU, but this MGP is a different one. Nice, bro. It's nice. Nice board right there. Nice board. Similar. Looks similar to the Behringer. It's 24 tracks. 24 is plenty. We got 32. I was like, now I'm looking at it. It's like, okay, 32 is cool, but do we need 32? Oh, it's a 32 channel. Okay, for sure. It's just, so you got the 32 model as well. Oh, here it is right here. MGP 32. Let me see if this is the one. This one right here. Oh, look at this thing. Oh, sweet. Not digital. It's not digital. It's you got the feel. You got the knobs there. Behringer is digital. Behringer is like the only thing there is the faders. The faders is the only real knobs that you turn. Everything else you gotta press a button to get to the thing. So for sure. Okay, real quick. Send some music in. I gotta see when I'm gonna do this. Gotta see when I'm gonna be doing this. You'll see this. When you see me say send your music in, make sure you send your music in, big dog. Make sure you send your music in. I just mean that what I mean by digital and everything. So on the Behringer, if you want to change the EQ, for example, for this channel or that channel, like whatever channel you're looking at, if you want to change the EQ, what you got to do is you gotta click a button on that channel and then click another button and then you can change the EQ. On this one, the EQ is right there. You could just see it. Those are sends and EQs. You can see the highs, mids, lows, and the auxiliaries, sends for each channel, right? For each channel, you have the knobs there. So that's just dope. Basically, I'm just saying like that's dope for a mixer. I didn't even know if that's interesting actually. We could have got this one too. Basically, the Behringer just made me be like, I want the Behringer. I wonder if they have this one in like a compact. I wonder if they have this, but like in a compact size. No, they only have that. Okay. They only have the 32. What about just a different version? Because basically, so they have a 24 track version and a 32 track version. Because basically, this mixer is similar to the first mixer that we had at our church. But yeah, now everything is all digital and everything like that, man. All right. If I could stay longer, I would, but I can't. You guys have been awesome. Shout outs to you. My son, one day we was telling him high five, and we would give him high fives, and I thought that was so cool. Then one day he was like, bean, like give me a bean, and we was so confused. We was like, where did he get this from? We don't know anybody. I might have said give me a dap, like all right, dap me up. He said give me a bean. I was like, what is a bean? Oh, but anyway, that's our thing now. Give me a bean. God loves you, and I do too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to catch you guys on the next stream. Peace.